Hi there. My name is Audrey William, and I'm the Principal Advisor at Ecosystem. I'm excited to host this CX Innovation Series with Talkdesk. Today, I'm joined by Augustin du Payrat, Head of Talkdesk ASEAN. Welcome, Augustin. It's great to have you here.
Thank you for having me here, Audrey. I'm very excited to be here.
So to kick things off, let's talk about data. Innovation around using big data and AI is something many organizations are thinking about. Based on Ecosystem's research, 56% of contact centers in the Asia-Pacific region have stated investing in AI and automation as a CX priority. Clearly, it's top of mind for enterprises. Augustin, the concept of the AI factory talks about how enterprises can use big data and AI through intelligent APIs to drive intelligence on steroids. Can you comment on the AI factory concept and why CX leaders should start thinking about it?
Certainly, Audrey. So the AI factory concept was a term that was coined in a Harvard Business Review article from 2020 called Competing in the Age of AI. And there are really 5 pillars that sustain this concept. The first one is user engagement. Second one is data collection. Third one is algorithm design. Fourth was prediction. And fifth is improvement. So why is this concept of AI factory? So we kept saying for years that data is the new oil, but you don't do anything with oil, right? So you put oils in your car, in your planes, and then you run businesses with it. So AI factory is essentially the concept of saying that you don't just need data and as oil, but you also need things like data pipeline and algorithm and improvements on user interfaces that actually will run the overall business through the data. So if you look at the elements I just mentioned earlier, you will realize that the CX leaders are almost integrally involved in all the 5. So for example, data collection, that's something that you do in contact center all the time. You also have you have a manual way to do it, but also a lot of automated ways to do it, with natural language processing and things of that kind of nature. Obviously, things like, user engagement is completely, entirely something that the CX professional are taking care of. So as you can see, to run a proper AI factory, a very large portion of it will be in the remit of CX professionals.
Okay, great. Thanks, Augustin. One of Talkdesk's customers is Lemonade. So they're a pioneer in insurtech where their use of machine learning and AI goes beyond satisfying customers, but moves into underwriting risks and managing claims. So can you talk about how Lemonade is using big data and AI to accelerate their CX transformation efforts? Sure.
So Lemonade, like Peloton or like Roots or like some others, they are some of the marquee, I would say, customers that we have. So if you look at the business model of Lemonade, I would say a very large part of it is underpinned by the idea that customers will be able to self-serve in a very user-friendly manner, in a very predictive kind of manner. Lemonade actually, as an insurance provider, so for the people who are not privy to the business case of Lemonade or the business of Lemonade, they are actually the current most successful insurance provider for less than 35 years old consumer in the US. And one of the key pillars of their strategy is their personalized customer service. So automation of the customer service and personalization of the customer service. The automation side, I think it's going to be kind of more straightforward for everybody to understand, we're talking about like virtual agents, but also the ability to use those data using the customer journey data to sort of feedback into the traditional insurance models. But when you come then, they managed to automate an incredibly large amount of their interactions by refining all of those customer journeys that they have. And when you actually manage to reach an agent, then you go to the next, I would say, click the next layer of that complexity, which is how do you manage somebody who's got like a really bad news that's also really unique. And that's also where Talkdesk really helps. So giving the agent the ability to really have the right knowledge at the right time, and give empathetic and knowledgeable response to customers who are potentially in distress because they just had, for example, a car accident or something bad that happened in their house. Actually, the ability then to use that knowledge that Topdesk provide to Lemonade help them to refine even furthermore, their automation and their customer experience, and both the automated and the assisted response.
No, thanks, Augustin. It's a great case study and demonstrates how companies that are born in the cloud put cloud AI and machine learning at the core of everything they do to drive proactive CX. And the data discussion and how you intelligently use data to hyper-personalize CX is only going to get bigger. Finally, Augustin, what should enterprises that have been operating their contact center in the traditional mode look out for as alarm bells that will signal a need for a complete overhaul of their contact center?
Well, the first alarm bell should be benchmarking yourself in terms of customer experience or NPS or customer effort, and see where you are compared to others. If you are not using the full amount of your customer behavior data into your business, be sure that others are doing it. And the more they learn about the customer's behavior, the more they can optimize their business, to the point where, well, it's actually well documented in the Competing in the Age of AI article, to the point that whenever you have an AI factory that competes against a traditional business at the right level, then the benefits of using AI to provide better experiences to customer means that the traditional businesses become completely irrelevant. Mm-hmm. The second alarm bell I would like to mention is obviously customer experience management, and you should be benchmarking yourself in terms of NPS, customer effort score, or any of those kind of metric against competition, and that's really something that's very, I would say, important when you start measuring yourself against AI businesses, because they are very, very strong at improving on those business outcomes. So if you realize that you're kind of going lower in benchmarks, it means that you're potentially at a threat. So at Talkdesk, we do have the ability to help you in these benchmark processes. So we do have a CX strategy unit that actually can help you understand where you are in terms of maturity. So your CX maturity assessment can be done, and we can help you understand sort of where and how you can revamp your current setup.
Thanks very much, Augustin. It has been great getting your views about some of the areas CX leaders must pay attention to if they want to succeed in this new CX economy. We've come to the end of today's video. Stay tuned for more videos on this series with Topdesk. Thanks for watching and have a great day.